Chapter 292, Painting of a Cloud Dragon. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. The auction today is surely grand. The Master of the Yuntai Suzerain and the Palace Master of Tai King Palace are both attending personally. Naturally, I've heard that not only are the space treasures at this auction, but also are some other special treasures. Endless discussions could be heard on the whole auction house. Suddenly, a wash basin-sized spiritual crystal of light nature floated up in the center of the auction house. It hovered about 66 meters in the air, radiating a brilliant light. It lit up the entire auction house like a bright full moon. A graceful woman in translucent white cloth flew down from the air and landed lightly, with jade white feet, in the center of the auction stage. Her long white hair cascaded like a waterfall down her back. Junior fellow apprentice Zhang, do you know who she is? Shang Kiki stared at the enchanting woman on the auction stage. His eyes were as round as coins and he spoke in a very excited way. Zhang Yuochen also glanced towards the woman and his eyes lit up a little. No wonder Shang Kiki was so excited. The white-haired woman was extremely beautiful and also very alluring. The long, snow-white legs that peeked out from her dress were particularly seductive. Many warriors' gazes were locked on her body. They looked as if they wanted to devour her. Indeed, she is a rare beauty. Zhang Yuochen smiled. The Marshall Market Bank is very good at doing business. By having such a beauty host the auctions, many young warriors will become hot in the head and recklessly bid high prices. Don't underestimate her. Shang Kiki glanced towards Cixingkong and smiled. Her name is Beig Zuling, one of the top 10 beauties of Omen Ridge. She is also one of the martial arts legends at the initial stage of the Heaven Realm, and an important member of the Marshall Market Bank. Most importantly, she is our eldest brother's confidant. Oh, Zhang Yuochen revealed a trace of a smile and turned his gaze to Cixingkong. Sure enough, Cixingkong appeared unusually awkward. Don't listen to him, he is blabbering. Miss Bei and I have only completed a mission together. It is nothing like what he said. The people around them continued to tease Cixingkong about Beig Zuling until finally Cixingkong became tired of acknowledging them and resumed drinking his wine. However, his glances continued to return periodically to Beig Zuling and he would smile lightly each time. Beig Zuling stood on the auction stage and began to warm up the audience as well as relay the rules of the auction. Following this, she said, "Now, please give your attention to the first item of the auction, the painting of a cloud dragon, personally painted by an art master. The painting of a cloud dragon is created with ink made from the blood of a flood dragon. The blood is combined with the power of art. By simply injecting genuine qi into the painting, a warrior can summon 7 flood dragons simultaneously to aid them in battle. The starting bid for the painting of the cloud dragon is 5,000 spiritual crystals. Each raise is not to be below 100 spiritual crystals. Let the auction begin. 5,000 spiritual crystals. 5,500 spiritual crystals. Beig Zuling's voice had just faded when the bidding began relentlessly. Huang Yanshan's mind clicked. The flood dragon is an inferior 4th level savage beast. Its power is equal to that of a warrior at the mid-stage of the Heaven Realm. If someone could call forth 7 flood dragons at the same time, they could challenge a warrior at the advanced stage of the Heaven Realm. However, the power of the war map decreases with each use, so regardless of how powerful it is the first time, the second use would see a major decrease in power. The power of the painting of a cloud dragon was awe-inspiring. It would be enough to kill a warrior at the initial stage of the Heaven Realm and threaten the life of a warrior at the mid-stage of the Heaven Realm. Zhang Yuochen naturally understood Huang Yanshan's meaning. She wanted to buy the painting of a cloud dragon since they were about to enter the underwater dragon palace. If she could control a painting of the cloud dragon, it would be much easier to deal with any danger that could arise. I'll help you buy it. Zhang Yuochen raised the crystal sign in his hands and waved it in the air. The crystal sign displayed his price, 7,600 spiritual crystals. Very quickly someone else called, 7,700 spiritual crystals. 7,900 spiritual crystals. Zhang Yuochen raised his sign again. 9,000 spiritual crystals. Huang Yanshan sat beside Zhang Yuochen and glanced at him. Although her expression remained nonchalant, She was very happy inside. Although she could command large amounts of spiritual crystals and could have bought the painting of a cloud dragon by herself, she liked watching Zhang Yuochen buy it for her. It was a strange kind of joy. Yan Yanhuan revealed an expression of disdain. It is only a mere war map of an inferior 4th level savage beast. In the Yan's family, we have as many of those as we want. Yan Yanhuan already owned many war map treasures. He never even considered auctioning for the painting of a cloud dragon. In just a few moments, the price of the painting had risen to more than 10,000 spiritual crystals, which were equivalent to 10 million silver coins. Of course, as the price rose higher, fewer and fewer people were in competition for it. Although the painting of a cloud dragon was very powerful, it was mainly attractive to warriors of the younger generation. Warriors of the older generation were powerful in and of themselves. They had already surpassed the Heaven Realm and had no need to spend large amounts of wealth on a war map. Other older warriors whose cultivation had not yet reached the advanced stage of the Heaven Realm did not wish to spend that much on a war map. For them, it was much more practical to purchase panacea that would improve their cultivation. At the moment, there were only 4 people still in competition. They were almost all warriors of the younger generation. Aside from Zhang Yuochen, the other 3 were members of the 10 prodigies of the Omen Ridge. 15,000 spiritual crystals. If the price goes up again, I'm not adding any more. Zenkina from the Tai King Palace held up the crystal sign, which showed his final price. Zenkina was ranked 8th of the 10 prodigies of the Omen Ridge and was also considered a 3-realm fighting genius. For him, 15,000 spiritual crystals was a very high price. Any higher and it would be beyond his means. The other 2 competitors were also showing hesitation. After all, the painting of a cloud dragon was only powerful on its first use. The second use had little value for them. When Zenkina called out his price of 15,000 spiritual crystals, they had already decided to give up their bids. Rather than spend a fortune buying the war map, they could buy some spiritual doses and break into the Heaven Realm. Once they broke into the Heaven Realm and became powerful themselves, they would reach a whole new level. For members of the 10 prodigies of the Omen Ridge, once they broke into the Heaven Realm, they would have enough power to at least challenge a warrior at the advanced stage of the Heaven Realm. Zhang Yuochen raised his sign again. 16,000 spiritual crystals. Seeing this price, Zenkina glanced in Zhang Yuochen's direction and seemed to recognize his status. He nodded slightly towards Zhang Yuochen. Previously, Zenkina had said that he would not compete for the painting of a cloud dragon if the price increased. In this kind of situation, Zhang Yuochen could simply have added another 100 spiritual crystals and easily claimed the painting of a cloud dragon. However, Zhang Yuochen had added another 1,000 spiritual crystals in one go. This gave Zenkina a lot of face and could be considered an act of respect. And so, Zenkina had nodded in a friendly way towards Zhang Yuochen to show his thanks. Not all at the auction house were enemies. 16,000 spiritual crystals. Going once. 16,000 spiritual crystals. Going twice. 16,000 spiritual crystals. Just as Bai Xuling was about to call out for the 3rd time, Yan Yanhuan glanced meaningfully at Kulin who was sitting next to him. Kulin smiled and nodded, and immediately raised his crystal sign. 17,000 spiritual crystals. Kulin naturally enraged Huang Yanchen by raising his sign. Huang Yanchen clenched her fists tightly and suddenly stood up. In a rage, she asked, "Kulin, what are you doing?" Zhang Yuochen had already clearly bought the painting of a cloud dragon. "What are you trying to do?" Kulin smiled lightly. "Junior sister apprentice Huang, I think you are mistaken. Clearly, the painting of a cloud dragon's price has not yet been set. Junior fellow apprentice Zhang Yuochen has not yet secured a price, right?" "You." Huang Yanjin gritted her teeth. "You never even raised your sign before." It wasn't until Zhang Yuochen was about to buy the painting of a cloud dragon that you purposely called a price. "I think you just want to raise the price." "How does that make any sense?" "Junior sister apprentice Huang, anyone may call a price in an auction. Why is it that only Zhang Yuochen can, but I cannot?" Kulin asked. Chang Kiki sneered coldly. "I think junior sister apprentice Huang is right. Someone is angry they lost to junior fellow apprentice Zhang and purposely raising the price." Kulin said coldly. "Chang Kiki, Don't speak nonsense. Be careful, you don't want to sprain your tongue. Chankiki did not like Kulin. He swept up his sleeves, about to charge forward and fight Kulin. Jang Yuochen pulled Chankiki back. Elder brother Ku is right. He can participate in the bidding. Since it is so, then we will compete fairly. No wonder junior fellow apprentice Jang is Master Lei's disciple. Indeed, some people are better at understanding such affairs than others. Kulin laughed. Jang Yuochen raised his sign again and immediately raised the price to 20,000 spiritual crystals. Jang Yuochen said, if you raise the price higher, the painting of a cloud dragon is yours. Kulin furrowed his brows in thought. 20,000 spiritual crystals were practically his entire fortune. It did not seem worth it to spend his entire fortune on a war map. His gaze swung to Yan Yunhuan, asking if he should raise the price. Yan Yunhuan shook his head. They had forced Jang Yuochen to spend another 4,000 spiritual crystals and had achieved their goal. There was no need to actually buy the painting of a cloud dragon. Kulin understood. Since junior fellow apprentice Jang really wants the painting of a cloud dragon, then I shall surrender it to you. 20,000 spiritual crystals. Going once. 20,000 spiritual crystals. Going twice. 20,000 spiritual crystals. 3 times. Sold. The painting of a cloud dragon is sold to client number 743. Please come to the back after the auction to collect your item and complete the transaction. Beig Zuling continued. Now, for the second treasure. A 300-year-old white ginseng fruit. The most powerful use of the white ginseng fruit is to raise cultivation. If a warrior of the Black Realm takes it, he could rise through 2 small realms. If a warrior of the Earth Realm takes it, he could rise 1 small realm.